What's up, everybody? It's Stuck in Carbonite, and today I have another video for you guys. After like 2 or 3 other video attempts and me completely scrapping them because I thought I sounded like an idiot, here we are again with our 4th attempt and with a new topic because I couldn't do the other topic for some reason. Every single time I'd like watch the playthrough, I was like, why did I say that? Am I making any sense? Like, my brain's just like scattered, just thoughts everywhere. And hopefully this video is pretty focused because today I really wanted to talk about collecting certain characters and figures, and are you trying to find a definitive version? I see this term thrown around a lot in the community, regardless of what lines you collect or what character you're after. Typically what I hear is like, oh, this is my definitive version of the character. So my question to you is like, if you have found your definitive version, do you continue to buy other versions of the character? Or are you just like, yeah, I'm one and done? Because, typically what I see a lot from numerous companies, it's not just Hasbro or Lego or NECA or McFarlane. There's just hundreds of companies, it feels like, that try to re-release something or revisit a character, years later. And, I think we see that a lot. Like, let's take Star Wars The Black Series, for example. Just recently, they came out with the Revenge of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, 2 figures that have desperately needed an upgrade with photoreal. And let's just say they knocked it out of the park. So not only did they nail the photoreal as compared to the archive versions, but they gave them like a rubbery outer lay to allow for more articulation, new joints, no pins at all in the arms or the legs, and just beautiful figures overall. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring this up today. If your definitive version of the character was the archive, and then you saw that, these new Anakin and Obi-Wans are on the shelf now, and you can they are readily available for you to order online. Are you ordering them right now? That's the question I want to pose today. And I have a few examples with me here because I just kind of want to share like how my brain works sometimes. And, my mind could change. My thoughts and my views could change on certain things. But as of now, this is where I'm at. And I know a lot of people can probably relate to this. So my first example, please do not roast me for this, but I have not obtained a Daredevil figure until now. And I absolutely love the character, but just recently I got the Daredevil from Born Again, and I absolutely love the suit. I think this figure is spectacular. And yes, there are things that can make this figure better, but for what you get for $25 compared to the $100 Mafex, this is good. This is really good. And by the Mafex, I'm talking about the comic version. I think that figure looks spectacular, but I just can't drop $100 on that right now. So for this, for $25, this is like my definitive Daredevil. You get what I'm saying? Like for my MCU shelf or Marvel shelf, whatever. And I've gotten rid of a lot of my Marvel Legends over the years. As of right now, that's my only shelf of Legends. That's it. And it's not much, but I'm very selective when it comes to Marvel Legends because they make so many. And to be honest, and I'm sorry if you heard that loud vehicle outside, but anyways, I live right by a pretty busy road. But anyways, if they were to come out with another version of this in the near future, will I get it? I don't know. It depends. But right now, I'm pretty satisfied with just this one version. I know that once season 2 comes out, they're probably going to make that black suit with the red DD on his chest. I think that's awesome. I love that suit. But will I get it? I don't know. I'm perfectly fine with this. So if this is my only Daredevil in the collection, I'm pretty happy. So that's example number 1. So number 2, we're going to go on the complete opposite of the spectrum. And what I mean by that is this is a character I thoroughly enjoy. Matter of fact, let's just bring both of them in at the same time. These 2 characters, I will buy multiple versions of them until the day I die. I'm almost certain. Even if I stop collecting altogether, I'm almost certain that these 2 characters will still make appearances in my cart. Let's put it that way. So I bring up these 2 characters, but I only brought, one figure for each. But Darth Vader and Boba Fett, absolutely love these characters, and I have multiple versions and styles of these guys in different scales, and there's a solid reason for that. I love Star Wars. I love Darth Vader. I love Boba Fett. What else can I say? I could talk about these guys for hours, but the thing is they keep making so many awesome figures. Like, after the vintage collection Rogue One Darth Vader, I was like, I don't think I'll ever buy another 3 3/4 Vader because this one's so good. And then they made the Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader, who is like, I mean, he's peak. He's perfect. I mean, how good is that? I mean, it's just amazing. But anyways, after I finally obtained the Archive Black Series Boba Fett, at that time, I was like, I'm never going to get the Mafex, which now I have the Mafex. But that Archive Boba Fett at the time, for me, was a big deal. I was like, oh my gosh, I have my GOAT. He's so perfect. Like, I can't wait to open him and pose him. And then this guy comes out a few years later, and he blows the Archive out the water. The Deluxe Boba Fett, who also got a re-release for the Return of the Jedi anniversary, this figure is amazing. And if they make another Boba Fett, am I going to buy it? Absolutely. And technically, I already did. They finally made a Black Series Book of Boba Fett, because, the outfit's actually different than the Morak fit from Season 2 of Mandalorian. So, yes, I pre-ordered that because I'm a Boba Fett shill. And, of course, I bought it. So, those are two other really good examples. And then I wanted to bring in Troopers because people always say, this is my definitive version. But as you know, with certain Troopers in almost every line that I've seen, I'm going to use Black Series for an example, but Star Wars The Black Series, they've made a Phase 2 Clone Trooper before. A basic grunt. They've made him, but he had pins. He wasn't as posable as this guy with my Commander Cook backpack. How awesome is that? Thank you, Cook. Anyways, they're going to make this guy again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the Republic Trooper. This is the Trooper of the Galactic Republic. They're going to make like 18,000 of these, regardless of what scale. They've made them in 3 3/4 several times. Actually, way more in 3 3/4 than they have, 6-inch for the Black Series. But my point being is they're going to continue to make Clone Troopers. They're going to make ones of every color. And I know that, like, before this year and last year, it feels like we were in a drought where we were not getting Clone Troopers. But now we're getting Clone Troopers like every other day, which is an awesome thing. But they're going to make different versions and different styles. So, like, can you really say you have like a definitive version? Same thing with like the Cobra Troopers and the Cobra Officers with Classified. I know they're going to make different versions. Like now they're making a female Crimson Guard. I already have a Crimson Guard. Now we're probably going to get the female ones. I don't have the Valkyries, which are the female Cobra Troopers, but you get what I'm saying. They're going to make different versions of Troopers, which almost look the same as others, but maybe they're different, genders, male, female, or, maybe a slightly different helmet, slightly different mask, you name it. They're going to change things up. So it's like, honestly, in my opinion, I know I'm going to continue buying Troopers. And sometimes I do army build with certain Troopers. Like, for example, I have 5 Death Troopers. And I have 4 Purge Troopers. I have 2 of the old Black Series Stormtrooper when they re-released them. I only have 1 of the 2020 mold, except for like the, there's like Jetta Patrol and the Jet Trooper. I mean, not the Jet Trooper, the Rocket Trooper. That's the same mold with pauldrons and stuff. So, like, I try to get like 1 of every Trooper. In most cases, some of them I pass on. But, that's just a good example, But also, when it comes to Transformers, this is like the Darth Vader and Boba Fett situation. I love Optimus Prime. I'm going to buy more than 1 Optimus Prime. I mean, I already have several literally on my Prime Shrine if you've seen my video. And that's not all of them. But anyways, Optimus Prime. I mean, literally the GOAT in Transformers, in my opinion. If you're a Transformers fan and you don't have an Optimus Prime, I would be very surprised. I'm not shaming you if you don't, but, if I would just be surprised because, Optimus Prime, he's just amazing. And not only that, they release so many different versions of his character, and and that's another thing too. Like with certain characters, they have so many different designs. Like this is the one from the Bumblebee movie, but you also have Rise of the Beast, or any of the Michael Bay films, or the G1 cartoon, or Transformers Animated, Transformers Armada, Transformers Cybertron. Like there's so many different iterations of the character. It's like, do you have a favorite design, or is that going to be your one and only Optimus? For me, I like different versions of Optimus. I have a G1, I have a Bayformers, I have a Cybertron trilogy, I have a movie, Bumblebee movie. Like, there's different ones, you know? There's IDW Optimus Prime, like comics. There's War for Cybertron, Fall for Cybertron, the video games, Transformers Devastation. I could go on and on. Optimus Prime has 18,000 different designs, and so do a lot of these characters as well, whether it's G.I. Joe, Star Wars, you name it. And that brings me to another point, and this is kind of like the same, within the same vein as the Darth Vader and Boba Fett. It's like certain characters will have numerous releases. Man, if I can actually speak today. Like, for example, in G.I. Joe, everybody knows that these two guys are very popular. And, you know, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, you know they're going to sell. Regardless of what version they are, it's because of these two characters. They are amazing. I mean, come on. Like, I already have, was it 3 or 4 versions of this guy in Classified? I have 3 or 4 versions of this guy in Classified. I have, gosh, probably a dozen of each of that character in 3 3/4. You know what I mean? Like, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, they're awesome. Same thing with Darth Vader and Boba Fett. They're awesome. I'm going to continue to buy Darth Vader and Boba Fett. And it's the same thing with, like, Captain Rex. I already have numerous Captain Rex figures. I probably have 5 or 6 in different scales. You know what I mean? So it's like, I love that character. I'm going to buy multiple versions of him because he's that cool. So it's like, when do you determine, or how do you determine this is the definitive version? You know, and that's just kind of the question I want to pose. Because there are some people that I've seen out there, you know, whether it's online or friends in real life, you know, like, hey, this is friends in real life. Anyways, like, I've seen people out there and they're like, this is my version. I'm sticking with this and I'm good. And, you know, power to you. And, you know, that's what's beautiful about collecting is you buy what you like. You buy what you love. Don't overcomplicate it. You know, don't feel like you have to go out your way to get something to show your love for something, which is by all means a great reason to buy something too, to support a company. You know, if you want to keep seeing more from it, if you're a diehard collector, that's great. But some people aren't like that. Some people are like, oh, I would just like a figure of this character, and that's fine. Just know that either way is fine. And there's like really no shame. But if you're like me, you'll say you found a definitive version. You'll say that, hey, this is my guy. But you're going to end up with 20 versions of them. So yeah, I just wanted to pose it out there. Do you guys try to center your collections, you know, trying to find that definitive version of a character? Or are you open to buying multiple versions of a character? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what your collections look like. Let me know if you have a character-focused collection. You know, like if you just absolutely love He-Man and He-Man's all over your room and that's the only character, you know, you buy figures of. Let me know. I would be interested because I want to know what people's collecting habits are, if I relate to them or if you relate to mine, or your thought process when you're buying new items to add to your collection. I find that stuff very interesting. But anyways, guys, I hope you have a blessed one. Remember, stay cool and stay frosty.